week's episode of Erased, Satoru Fujinuma travels back in time in what could be his final opportunity to save Kayo Hinazuki. I don't know what it is, but it seems like Kayo Hinazuki constantly has a laser sight dot on her forehead because there is some force out there that wants to make sure that this girl is going to be killed. The cliffhanger ending this week completely brought me to my knees, as did this episode, which if I could describe in one word would probably be warm. This was an episode that finally went back to what I think was the strongest elements of Erased, which is all of the atmosphere and going back in time to Satoru's childhood. What's most interesting about this episode right here is how much Kenya finally gets involved. Kenya is the one side character of the series who I believe is the most tolerable, and that's probably because he is the most mature, and he's probably one of the most intense child characters that I've ever seen. He almost seems a little diabolical, like he's planning something himself, but he obviously does have good intentions in wanting to help out Satoru and Kayo Hinazuki as well, because he actually acknowledges that yes, she is beaten mercilessly by her parents, and there's a good chance that this could lead to her death, and he actually decides to end up helping Satoru, because he's been following him around for days. And there's this one moment of the episode, which is definitely one of the most intense, where Satoru is actually following Kayo's mother, and he's getting right behind her, almost as if he's about to push her down these stairs and kill her. The amount of scary desperation on his face was just almost too much to take. The fact that he was in a childlike form, too, just made it all the more disturbing. Luckily, Kenya was there to stop him, and what they're going to do is they're going to come up with this crazy plan where they're going to hide Kayo Hinazuki in this broken down bus with a heater. They're going to bring her food and hang out with her for a couple of days until eventually the police are just going to have to get involved with her and her parents, which of course is going to lead to her possibly being saved from having to be with them at all, and of course from being killed by this mysterious killer who continues to just be a complete mystery. There's tons of hints as to who it could be in this episode. I'm pretty sure though that it has to be the teacher at this point. There are just so many signals. The fact that he's just so interested in everything that's going on. He's constantly watching. That one scene where he's on the phone and the transition goes where his eyes actually turn into those lampposts which are actually looking at that school bus as if he's watching the entire time like a vulture of death. I love the mystery behind it, especially the final scene in this week's episode where some mystery person is about to walk into the bus and we have no idea who it could be. Some person with a backpack. I can't match it to anyone. It could be someone good. For all we know, it could actually be Satoru's mom, who's actually been watching all of these things going on and is actually deciding to help her out as well. This could be good. It could be bad. All I know is it sucks that she is constantly having to go through all of this in multiple timelines of being killed and not being killed and constantly almost being assaulted by people. Someone wants Kayo Hinazuki dead, and it's really, really messed up. That being said, there were a lot of moments in this episode which were frankly just heartwarming, especially when the characters were just hanging out in this broken down bus. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Erased? This is what I'm talking about. This is the atmospheric series that I wanted to see. I love all of the scenes where he goes back in time, getting to see him relive these moments, small moments with him running into his mom again after literally seeing her get killed multiple times and having to be dealt with the fact that he might actually be the killer. He's going through this like roller coaster of shit and still managing to like maintain his sanity, and that's pretty freaking awesome. I also love the fact that this is all like a parallel to his idea for a manga story where he constantly has the opportunity to make things better, but it always manages to make things just a little bit worse, and he's always sort of trying to find that secret answer to actually figuring out everything. I mean, who knows how the next episode is going to go, if that's going to be an actual killer, if it's going to be someone who actually might end up helping out Kayo Hinazuki. We're just really going to have to wait and see, and that's what's so great about this series. It's a great mystery, at least for the people who aren't reading the manga version, and that's the way I'm going to keep it. I'm going to continue just to watch the anime. It should be wrapping up actually around the same time as the manga, so hopefully they do have the same ending. What I will say is I love this episode. It made me appreciate some more of the side characters a little bit, especially Kenya, who's definitely grown as a character. The scene where he just realized something was not quite right with Satoru, the fact that he was like a complete completely different person, and he, like, observed all of that, you know, he can almost figure out that he actually time traveled. That's how smart this kid is. He's also a really scary and intense kid. I'm not sure why, but it's crazy. Maybe it's a testament to the really great voice acting and atmosphere from this series. What I will say is, I can't wait to see how this whole mystery is going to wrap up, and if Satoru is going to end up being the superhero that he claims he is. So this was a fantastic, atmospheric episode of Erased, which you should definitely check out if you've been following the series. I'm going to give this one right here a 4 out of 5. Can't wait to see the next episode, and you should definitely check it out. But if you did watch this week's episode, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!